Hi, I'm Stephen Ham from Archery Supplies, and today I'm going to talk about the Citation 36 SE cam that I've been shooting for about 3 weeks now. Now, I've set up this bow and I did the review with it, so this is a follow-on from that. And today's a nice day, so I thought we'll shoot around and I'll just talk about this bow and talk about how it varies from the other Citations and Supras that I've shot, how it's feeling to me, and we'll shoot some arrows and we'll see how well I can shoot with it. Now today, it's fairly warm, but there's very little wind. And since I first did this review, it's been windy every day. And yes, I do have an indoor range, but I generally shoot at home. So I thought, well, this is a fair test. Now, it's the day after New Year's, so now that one had a cracked knock. If I shot that one, the bow would have blown up. So now, I fitted this bow with custom strings. First thing. Now I found that I've got a little bit of serving separation here, and the D-loop was moving up a little bit. So often when I fit a D-loop to a bow, I'll fit some ties below the D-loop and some ties some ties below the knock and above the knock, and then I'll tie the D-loop either side, and that tends to hold it into place really well. If you're going to do that, you tie a couple more down the bottom than the top, because it tends to pull the D-loop square. You can see the D-loop's currently pointing up slightly. So I did have the knocking point move a little bit in the first 3 weeks. The bow itself I've had no issues with, besides the first video, which I did where the cable guard came loose, obviously in the first shoot. I put some Loctite on that, and it's been good ever since. Now I've been shooting extremely well with this bow, like extremely well. So let's first off talk how well I normally shoot. I've shot 2 300s in my lifetime, at home in practice. I kind of average about 297 normally on a normal shoot or a competition shoot at the Nationals. I think I shot 299. 300s for me, that's a really good day if I did a 300. 299 I'm really happy with. I'm happy with the 297. In the wind, at home, I did a 299, and the 9 I think was a 10. So it was either a 300 or a 299. I'm not going to argue about it, but I shot really well, and I've been shooting really well with it, and lots of X's. So let's see how this goes. So let's shoot this first arrow. Now, the draw cycle, very easy. This is the SE cam. So if you're familiar with PSE, doesn't matter which cam you get, this is the SE. It feels the same. I'm finding this cam system a lot easier than the EM cam to physically draw, hold. The draw cycle's smoother all the way through, and I'm finding it more consistent to shoot. Now that's not to say I shot poorly with the EM, because I clearly did not. I shot well with the EM, and I have 3 bows. I think I have 3 bows with the EM. I've definitely got 2 Supras with the EM. Oh, I've got the Citation 36 with the EM cam. Now, I'm going to say that the Citation 36 at 55 is significantly harder than the SE cam at 60 pounds. I don't have any fatigue with this bow at all. With the Citation 36 with the EM 55, I was definitely getting fatigue. Now, I found I shot really well with the, so that's 3 arrows, with the Citation 36, but with the EM cam, but I found I would fatigue. So I might shoot a really good end, and then I might shoot some poor arrows in the next end. And that all gets back to me and how much I shoot and how much my body is conditioned to shooting. If I shot that bow all the time, I'm sure I'd shoot well with it. And right now I can see Stefan Hansen shooting that exact bow, and he's shooting obviously very well with it. And I did shoot very well with it, but I fatigued. In fact, at the Nationals, I changed to the Supra. I changed to the Supra 50 pound for the last distance, which I shot extremely well with. 359 out of 360. But I was just finding I was fatiguing with the all day in the sun, and my muscles were really hurting. So I suppose what I'm trying to say, with 60 pounds with this bow, I'm not feeling any of that at all. It's funny, today's New Year's Day, and yesterday was extremely hot, and I was at the beach and I literally got dehydrated and I was exhausted. And I'm feeling a bit of shake in my muscles now from yesterday. So I'm getting a bit of shake. I'm not shooting as well today. I'm not aiming as well, and this arm here is not holding as well as I've been holding every other time I've shot this bow. I can feel it. However, it still feels easy for me, and we're still going to shoot this round because I think I'll shoot it okay. Look, I obviously can't count arrows because I thought I shot 6 and there's clearly 5 in the target. My first one was a 9 and the rest looked like X's. Now I'm extremely happy with that. The 9 was completely my fault, and that's where I released the shot. I feel like I shoot this bow very, very well, as far as I feel like I feel like it's very accurate. Unlike anything I've shot before in a bow, which is very weird to me because I feel like I'm now like just promoting it. I've been very happy with every other bow I've ever shot, but with this one I just feel like I can shoot X's. I haven't really felt that with bows before. So like I've liked the Supra bow that I've shot, and I've shot the Supra 37 with SE, I've shot the EMs, and I've liked the bow, and they've got a little bit of feel to them when you shoot them, so the bows kind of jump forward a little bit in your hand. I'm not finding that with this Citation 36. It feels deader in the hand, not as dead as some of the hunting bows, which have got more parallel limbs, but it feels deader than the Supra. There's still a little bit of feedback, but it feels good. This bow feels very solid. I feel like my peep sight's a little bit low, so this knuckle here, it's coming very close into my jawline, and I'd probably like a little bit lower. However, I'm shooting extremely well with this bow, so I'm just gonna keep shooting it, and I'll probably tie the knocking points onto the string to stop that slide. I might even reserve that center serving. Now, see the center serving here where it's been served. I'd probably go a little bit higher next time. If you make it a little bit longer, you've got less chance of that center serving moving. So between the Supra 37, the Supra 40, EM and SE, they both felt the same. Obviously the SE is a little bit smoother draw than the EM on the Supra, but it felt really the same. I shot the same scores. I feel like I shoot this bow, and I haven't shot scores yet with it at a club or anything, this is just in practice. I feel like I shoot this bow extremely well. Like there's a little bit of wind, but suppose with this bow, I feel like I can shoot an X. I don't know if that was an X or not, but it felt to me like an X. It feels very stable to aim, easy to draw, it feels fast. So I feel like I can shoot 300 with this bow, and I feel like I'll shoot 300 very shortly with this bow. And I suppose the grip feels comfortable to me because it feels like all the other bows I've shot before. And as much as I'd like to try, you know, the new Elites, the new Bowtechs and other bows, this bow just feels comfortable to me. That's 6. Look, I'm not the world's greatest archer. I haven't claimed to be, and I've watched this young kid shooting this cheap bow the other day and he was popping X's. I'm like, I know he spent a lot of time setting up that bow where I've just pulled this out and just literally shot it. I spent an hour setting it up and but this, that is literally the best arrows I've ever shot in my life. And I've been shooting since I was 12 years old. Like that, you know, you're talking about competitions and, you know, like, do you shoot for competition, do you shoot for whatever? Like, that's what I shoot for. That's just awesome. It's a nice day, it's relaxing, I'm just sitting here. Those shots were just perfect. How many X's? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know, maybe 6, maybe 5, maybe 4. It's a good X count. I suppose I have lots of people talk to me on Facebook and they ask me about fat arrows for indoor. Shoot good arrows. Like these arrows, shot a knockoff. These arrows are VAPs. I'm not doing a plug for VAPs, but they're just rock solid. I've had them for 3 years, I reckon, maybe longer. They're the original set of arrows, and I shoot the sports and the elites just in the nationals. You would have seen I was shooting sports and elites arrows. It makes no difference to me whatsoever. The arrows all go in the middle. I don't feel any less confidence with the sports. But these arrows are tough. I haven't broken any, and like I Robin Hood them. You'll see when I do videos, I Robin Hood the knocks. All good. Don't need collars. You just go shoot. It's with fats. You got to kind of tune them. You need a different rest. I honestly haven't had much luck with fat arrows shooting them, and I can't shoot 6 fat arrows at the one target and get that group and get that whole feeling of the shot. I just want to feel the consistency of the shot. That's one of the reasons I do like recurve archery. It's just you shoot the same target and you can kind of shoot them all, where with compound they expect you to shoot fat arrows for indoor, and I just like shooting. So in fact, all my good scores that I've shot for indoor have been with skinny arrows. In the nationals, when I came second, shooting skinny arrows, one of my friends won the nationals with skinny arrows. I'm not saying don't shoot fats. I'm just saying shoot good shots. Just work on your technique. So, it's Christmas, New Year 2022. South Australia, where I live, we've been living in a bubble, so we've had no COVID cases. Anyway, they opened the borders a few weeks ago to the rest of Australia, except for WA, who closed its borders to us. As soon as we opened it up to the rest of Australia, and COVID cases have been soaring. Like, I think we have 12,000 cases right now in the state. That's within 3 weeks. From no cases. We've had no cases literally forever. And now it's just kind of soaring. And I feel, people go like 2021 was a shit year. Actually, I feel it was pretty good because like everyone's still alive. I know there would have been people who passed away, but largely everyone's still alive, so I'm pretty happy with that. So some of the questions I got: am I going to shoot a like a Hampski peep or a specialty podium peep? Look, I may. It's not going to be. I'm going to change the sight to blue first. And we had a True Ball Axel order in the other day, which had a blue sight and it sold. That was ordered 8 months ago, so let's just keep things into perspective. I mean, great sights. True Ball Axel, great sights. It's just hard to get. I suppose my thing with COVID, because people are asking me my view on COVID, it's just the rules change so often. I just, like yesterday, the state premier mandated 3 jabs. So you got to have the vaccine twice and now you got to have a booster shot to be vaccinated. So if you work in an essential work area, healthcare, education, police force, maybe firemen, I don't know. I know the water boards require vaccinated people. Basically, a large percentage of the population have to be vaccinated to work. We don't mandate things. It's just if you don't do it, you don't get to work, which I find incredible. Everyone can have their own views. One thing about the archery shop, you have so many customers from different walks of life who you get to meet. Like I've had doctors in, I've had nurses in, I've had, I think 2 or 3 nurses now have had to who've lost their jobs because they didn't want to be vaccinated. And I suppose the thing is, we had no cases of COVID in this state. So people are like, well, why we need to get vaccinated when we live in a bubble? Now you can have that debate, right? But I think there's been 3 teachers who chose to give up their job than to be vaccinated. At least 1 police officer came in 2 weeks ago who gave up his job. Now most people did get vaccinated and they were happy to be vaccinated. I just feel for those people who feel passionately about it. Like this bow, like that shot was just the best. Pulled it back, nice and smooth, aimed it, the pin was just still, it just dropped into the 10, sat there, the shot went off, perfect. I assume it was an X because it was just perfect. My muscles are not fatiguing, they're not sore. It's really nice. Okay, this is my thing with this bow. Oh, look, there's a low 9. Like, now I'm not beating myself up over that 9. I don't know which error it was. I felt like they're all X's, but okay, so far I've dropped 2 9s, but Like the X count is extremely high. The arrows feel amazing. And yes, I've shot 2 9s. So the best I can hope for is a 298. But my thing is the good arrows. The shots feel amazing. They feel incredible. And that's what I'm liking about this bow. We have in Australia, we have a pension system. So when you reach a certain age and you have under a certain amount of assets, you get a pension, which is, I think, and you think I'd know this stuff because I worked in the industry for a fair while, I think it's 40% of the adult wage, which is probably around $400 a week the government gives you if you have assets below a certain level, which I think is around $300,000. Now, that excludes your house. So you can live in a $5 million house and still get the pension. Now, when I worked in this area, I was like, well, so you can't live in a $100,000 house and have a $300,000 holiday home, but you can live in a $5 million house by the beach. That's acceptable. And the people I worked with, extremely very left-wing, were like, yes, you can't force people to move out of your house, out of their house where they've grown up. But you can sell all your assets and buy a $5 million house on the beach or a $10 million house on the beach and get the pension. And I'm like, well, that seems silly. But I understand their point of view. And I suppose my thing is when I listen to people's points of view, I accept them. It's like, well, it's okay for you to have your point of view. And with this whole COVID debate, it's not even a debate because it's just shut down. Like, doctors aren't allowed to have an opinion. People aren't allowed to have a view, and I'm like, I don't get that. People should be able to say, look, I'm scared about the vaccine, I'm scared about having it, I'm scared of this. That should be okay. I'm okay with that. I mean, in this state, let's say you have a baby. Your wife has a baby, and you're not vaccinated. You're not allowed to go to hospital to see your child. It's like, it doesn't seem fair. Let's say your kid's in a hospital. You've got to be vaccinated to go to hospital to see your kid. And now maybe you'd say that is fair, because you don't want to give COVID. But every case of COVID that's come into this state so far, you had to be double vaxxed to come into the state. You had to have a test before entering this state to say you had no COVID, and all these cases have come from double vaxxed people who've been tested to show there's no cases, to show they don't have COVID. So it shows that, well, clearly shows the testing doesn't work. It's that one might have come a little bit low. I still feel like it was a good shot. Anyway, I just feel for all the uncertainty, all the people struggling with it. I struggle with it because the laws change all the time in the business. You don't know if you're going to get shut down. Like if a customer comes into your store who's got COVID and they shut your business down, all your staff then have to go home for 2 weeks. The times are very uncertain. Well, that was a really bad shot. I had the shakes and I probably should have let down. This little weight comes loose on my stabilizer. Now when that occurs, you can put a little bit of Loctite on it and just put it on to beef up the thread, or you can put some plumber's tape on it and see if that works. I'm always keen for plumber's tape, but you can put a little bit of glue on it just to bulk up the thread. You don't want to be at a tournament having your stabilizers come loose. You don't want to be thinking about that. fact, all you want to be thinking about is making a nice shot. Even when I do these videos and I do reviews, I can't, like whatever I'm talking about now, you've got to shut off and just get focused straight back on that shot. It's quite hot out here in the sun. I'm already sweating. Whoa. That's complete thing that I was thinking about what temperature it is and how it converts to Fahrenheit. It's been 38 degrees over here in the last couple of days, like hot. And next week it's dropping to 18, which is freezing. It's like colder than winter weather next week. So this week coming is going to be colder than winter. It's the middle of summer, and the last 3 days have been like really hot. Even there, like there's another 9 there, which was higher, which would have been the last shot where I'm considering, and that's this one. The second one higher was me as well. Now the ones low, they're a nice group, and what it does, it kind of makes me think, is my D-loop moving or is it just me? And you don't want to have uncertainty when you're shooting. My point is the arrows up and down are perfect. Completely perfect, and I'm completely happy with everything right now. So let's shoot the last end. So I'm at Christmas with my family, and my sister has just retired from work, and she was talking about happiness. So her friend is building a $10 million house. So they're one of the wealthy families, and she said to her friend, "Is the $10 million house going to make you happy?" Is it going to increase your happiness over the house where you live right now? Because it's it's a big house, fantastic views. My sister said, "You know the answer to this." She said, "It'll keep you distracted for 2 years while you build the house. But whether you live in a $10 million house or a $200,000 house, it's really not going to alter your happiness." I think some people think if you have a nice house, or if you have that nice new car, it's nice when your car doesn't break down. But like when you work all the time, people can say you work all the time. I suppose for me, I enjoy this. I enjoy coming out in the morning, shooting some arrows. I enjoy doing some weights. I enjoy getting stronger, like on the recurve bow I've been shooting, which we just reviewed. It's 50 pounds. Now I'm getting strong enough to shoot that, and when I first started shooting, I was getting all these left and right movements, and I would have said in the video, I tell you what, in the last 3 days, left and right movements have almost gone, and I'm shooting personal bests, and I'm coping now with a 50-pound bow. To start with, it really hurt my shoulder, and I was in pain for like 3 weeks. at the shop. You know, come in, my muscles are killing me. I'm in pain, and then the pain goes away, and I'm like, oh, I can shoot now. My shoulder's in the right position, and I'm shooting personal bests, and it's feels great. I said to my other sister, who's also got a business, they were saying, oh no, life's better now. And I'm like, is it? I said, when you're young and you're renovating houses and struggling, I said, you're pretty happy. I think part of it's the struggle and then getting and hitting those goals and hitting, like when you can't shoot, when you just buy a bow and you can't shoot. Like I can remember when I couldn't hit the target. I was not a good archer by any stretch of the imagination. It took me weeks to hit the gold in the middle. But you sit there and you practice and you practice and you practice, and you get this. And it's like, I can remember when I added all these weights to my bow, massive amounts of weight, created massive strain in my lower back. I could struggle to walk and I was limping. I felt like I was disabled. I literally could not walk to the target. And I didn't know what to do, and that's one of the reasons why I changed to recurve, so the bow was physically lighter. Started doing weights and trying to strengthen up my body. I try and eat better. I still eat bad sometimes. I still eat chips and, you know, like I still eat stuff, but I like this morning I had broccoli and spinach and stuff and mushrooms for breakfast. And I am eating better. I'm conscious of it now. Last arrow. Now, last arrow of a round. If you're clean up to 300, you put massive amounts of pressure on yourself for the last arrow, and that's when people stuff it and they shoot a 299. So whenever you're shooting, you think, well, this is the last arrow. This one has to hit the 10. Put pressure on yourself to execute that perfect shot, regardless of whether it's your first or the last arrow. Because obviously my first arrow was a 9. So I shoot with people who beat themselves up. Like with the first arrow was a 9. People would be like, that's it, I'm quitting. And I know lots of people at high level, they shoot a 9 at the nationals on their first arrow and they just quit. That's it. They walk away. Because it's like, no, you're shooting now because I shot a 9. Never not shot a tournament that I've entered. Finished it as much as I maybe should not have, because it's been terrible weather or whatever. I've always finished it because it's like, I want that experience. I want that disappointment of that first arrow and I can remember it. I want that whole thing. Look, I think that's extremely good. So, my summary. The PSE Citation SE. So people go, do you like the Citation 36 better than the 40? Do you like the EM better? Look, I shot the EM really, really well. But I have never shot a bow like this. Ever. I have never shot a bow like this. Like those arrows are so tight. I'm not shooting the compound every day. So this Citation, since I did the review, I've probably shot 4 or 5 times. I've been shooting recurve a fair bit, trying to build up my muscles. But the thing, every time I shoot this bow, it just shoots like this, and I feel fantastic shooting it. So again, when you have a bad day or when you're feeling fatigued, I've shot shoots in extreme heat where I'm like, I'm ready to pass out and I've got the shakes and they're the things you kind of want to remember. I've shot this shoot in Canberra where it was a 2-day shoot and it's 144 hours a day. Really hot conditions. I got so severely burnt on the first day that sunburnt that I never wanted to shoot again. Because it was all too much. I don't want to be sunburnt like that again. You can say, well, you could wear, sun protection. I did. I wore sun protection yesterday. I still got burnt. You can wear long sleeves, you can wear a bucket hat, and like, yes, I can wear that stuff, but it's just my eyes get sunburned, and it's just unpleasant for me. So I try and finish shoots, but I suppose every shoot's an experience, and whether I get sunburned, dehydrated, but when there's a nice shoot, when the shoot's perfect, when there's no wind and it's just perfect weather conditions, I'm like, this is the day I've been waiting for. This is it. Because it could be 40 degrees, it could be 16 degrees in snow, it could be massive cyclones, and it's not going to be a pleasant shoot, and I'm not going to really enjoy it like I'm enjoying this today. But I shoot it because I want that experience. And I want that experience so when I have the good experience, I'm like, this is awesome. I'm loving this. So I want the highs and I want the lows, I suppose. So anyway, that's the Citation SE. Wishing you the best for 2022, and I hope you're healthy. Hope you're healthy and safe and all the rest of it, and hope you're not, stressing out too much from COVID. I know a lot of people are. With rules changing and everything. I know my family's very split on it all, and quite stressed. Even the vaccinated members of my family and the unvaccinated members of my family, it's all very, very trying times, I'm going to put it, and so hard for people. Anyway, that's the Citation 36. I love it. Love the bow. I will be trying some elites and trying some Bowtechs, and we'll be setting up with a little target gear and see if I can shoot better with this. I cannot see how I can shoot better than this. And yeah, I shot 2 9s, maybe 3. I don't know. That was one of the best rounds I've shot in my life. The X count for this round would have been one of the highest X counts I've ever shot. I don't know how many X's it was. I think my highest X count is a 21, and I'm pretty sure I would have done it then. So it's 5 ends, 4 X's, an end. Would have been pretty close. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 X's. It would have been pretty close to it. So, and this is like, there's some wind and it's hot, and I'm talking in the video. So I've got no questions about this bow, and straight up loving it. Absolutely loving the bow. I'm Stephen Han. Thanks for watching. Bye.